In this video, I'm going to briefly cover what intermittent fasting is and how you should go about doing it, why you might want to do it, and also clear up some nonsense that I've heard about it. So, let's start from the top. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting refers to any dieting strategy that restricts your access to food for periods of time, be that a period of the day or, in some cases, whole day fasts interrupted by days of eating. So the first thing I want to do is clear up some misconceptions around intermittent fasting. Regular conversations online and otherwise about intermittent fasting are all talking about a particular style, or at least for the most part talking about a particular style, that is eating food only for a specific portion of the day. Typically something in the ballpark of about 8 hours or 10 hours of eating, followed by the rest of your day being a fast. I want to clear something up. That type of intermittent fasting is better communicated as time-restricted eating. Why? Well, because it's not a fast. That distinction is very important for a couple of reasons. There's a lot of research on fasting and a lot of anecdotally experienced benefits from fasting. It's getting a lot more hype and buzz recently, but those benefits are not experienced by people doing time-restricted eating. In order to derive those benefits, you need to go much longer periods without eating, at least a day. A quick note on the difference between time-restricted eating and fasting, more specifically the benefits of fasting that you won't receive during time-restricted eating. That is, during a state of fasting, you will have substantial drops in IGF-1 and insulin, as well as entering a state of very deep ketosis, and an increase in autophagy. Those benefits will not be seen in time-restricted eating. With that being said, what are the benefits of time-restricted eating? This form of intermittent fasting that we're talking about. Now that I've cleared up the distinction between time-restricted eating from the rest of the intermittent fasting panoply of methods, it's not as though there aren't benefits to time-restricted eating. So what are they? I think there are 4 primary benefits. Number 1 amongst them is that, for many people, it can help them stop snacking. If you're a type of person that likes to graze in the mornings, snack frequently, then restricting your access altogether from food for a period of time, particularly in the mornings, can help some people from snacking. That, for many, may represent a substantial amount of calories that they're no longer consuming. So if you are someone who tends to snack excessively in the evenings or in the mornings, then time-restricted eating may help with that tremendously. Second, time-restricted eating may give your GI tract a break. If there is a longer period of time throughout the day in which your digestive system is no longer digesting anything, if you were previously experiencing some bloating or GI distress, this type of practice may help with that. Personally, for myself, I see some benefits in this respect quite frequently. Third is that it aids in your ability to perform fasted exercise. Whilst fasted exercise, fasted cardio, or weightlifting is a little overhyped for regular dieters in my opinion, it can be quite useful for people on the ketogenic diet. Why is that? Fasted exercise will help you induce a state of ketosis if you previously were not in it already, and help you deepen that state of ketosis if you were, as well as helping you adapt to that state. And so for people on keto, fasted exercise can be quite useful. Time-restricted eating gives you a larger window of time in which to schedule such an exercise bout, and may help you perform that particular practice. Fourth, and maybe most important for some, is the fact that time-restricted eating can help you organize your day, as well as limiting your need to cook, prepare, clean up after, and source a full meal. Limiting your need to eat a meal, particularly breakfast, can help a lot of people just get going with what's really important for their day, removing their need to source and prepare a meal in the mornings. Moreover, structuring your day such that you can only eat for a particular period of time means that your meals will follow a more regular pattern. This can help with digestion, this can help with ordering your schedule, and for many people who might have had a disorganized eating habits or routines, restricting the period of time in which you can eat to a specific window will help you regularize your eating habits and potentially help you structure the rest of your day. Time-restricted eating can help you structure your lifestyle and your diet, can help you remove snacks from your life, can help you perform fasted exercise, giving you a longer period of time in which to schedule such an activity. It can also help with digestive problems if you may have been experiencing a bit of bloating, see if that helps. But nevertheless, those are the benefits. What are the detriments? Because, as I see it, there are 2 primary ones. And the first is quite obvious and a little mundane, which is that you don't like to do it. It doesn't gel with your natural habits. You might be someone who's just regularly hungry. And cutting out a meal, be it breakfast or dinner, just doesn't suit you well. And you often find yourself not enjoying the practice. If that's the case, then give it a miss. No problem there at all. The second one is a little more serious as far as detriments go. Some people may find that if they restrict their access to food for a long period of time, or even a briefer period of time, it may cause a massive rise in hunger when they do allow themselves to eat, causing them to binge, eat otherwise more calories than they would. Moreover, they may also make poor choices of the foods that they eat when they do eat, if they have induced this state of hunger. They may choose foods that are more readily accessible and more palatable, which might not be appropriate for many diets and may also cause you to eat more calories than you otherwise would. So, if you're someone who finds that they regulate their hunger better by having more frequent smaller meals or just more meals total, then go for it. Miss out on time-restricted eating altogether, it's okay. Now, finally, how do you do time-restricted eating, this particular form of intermittent fasting? You schedule a portion of your day in which you do not eat, and another portion of your day which you do eat. The portion of your day that you do eat is going to be smaller than the other one, and is usually something in the ballpark of an 8 to 10 hour period of time in which you eat. For many people, that means eating for the period of the day between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., or maybe move those windows around as you see fit. That in the basic sense is how you do it. Implementing it into your lifestyle will take a little bit of trial and error. Start doing the practice, restrict your window of time in which you eat, start with, in my recommendation, a 10-hour period of time in which you can eat, and shrink that window as you feel fit and as you feel comfortable. If you find the practice not gelling particularly well, then move that window around. Move it later into the day, earlier into the day, shrink it and grow it as you see fit. An important note is that most people find that they adapt to this practice over the course of about a week. So, give it a week and move it around as you see fit to find if it suits well. If it doesn't, then skip out on it entirely. It's not a big deal. Moreover, if you find yourself feeling hesitant towards the practice, then feel free to give it a miss altogether, or start with a very modest 12-hour eating window, just restricting your access to food for half of the day, and move it around as you see fit. If you feel more comfortable, shrink that window closer. Finally, and quite importantly, I think we should all ask the question, should you intermittent fast? More specifically, should you time restrict your food? Maybe. The practice is modest, both in how you actually implement it and in its benefits. It may be more meaningful to some and less to others. It may be more or less conducive to your health, your lifestyle, your habits, etc. I personally have been doing it for the better part of about 7 years, something like that, because it suits my habits very nicely. I just generally don't feel hungry in the mornings, and so find it fine to just cut my eating window down to a period of about 8 hours. Just a quick thing to mention. Some people might find it a little hard to not eat in the mornings, but they really do want to actually do the practice. So a quick recommendation, and this goes for recommendation for fasting as well, if you're doing a longer period of time without eating. Warm liquids and things like coffee. Coffee is an appetite suppressant. Having things like coffee, black coffee in the mornings when you're not eating can help you manage your hunger and blunt your cravings, as well as warm teas and that sort of thing. And moreover, since time-restricted eating isn't fasting, you don't need to bother too much about the idea of breaking your fast. Just don't eat a substantial amount of food. I mean, frankly, some people do intermittent fasting where they have milk in their coffees and whatnot. And whilst I don't think that really sticks to the spirit of it, if it works, it works, don't knock it. Quick note on keto. A lot of people who practice the ketogenic diet find themselves also practicing intermittent fasting routines, be they actual full-day fasts interspersed with days of eating, or the one we've talked about here, time-restricted eating. And the reason why this often happens is that it can help you with fasted exercise and whatnot. But moreover, during the ketogenic diet, people's hunger is blunted massively, and they often find themselves not feeling hungry in the morning and find no need to force themselves to eat. And so naturally gravitate to a practice that just codifies that habit. Yes, some of the confusion between time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting, and this type of intermittent fasting and fasting is that I think a lot of people want to sell the idea of intermittent fasting, and so they're tacking on the benefits of fasting to intermittent fasting erroneously to try and overhype it. And I think other people just get confused between the names because they both got fasting in them. Here on this channel, I cover topics and interesting bits of information about the ketogenic diet, guides and information that helps me and others in my life do the diet. If you are interested in the diet as well, stick around. There's plenty to learn, lots to see. And if you have any considerations, questions, or further information, please leave it down below. We'll read it.